Hey everybody, we are live.
Wow.
We are back, which we weren't supposed to be back yet. But this is such a big show. We literally, like, Jeffrey came running back home. I came running into my room, put everything together so we could do this show because wow, this was a big AEW All Out. I'm Mike Sandoval. This is the one and only J to the E.
To the double F. Woo! Jeffrey Harris, and welcome back to This Week in Wrestling, a special AEW All Out live recap edition, an impromptu show, but we are here and we are ready to have some fun. What a night.
Exactly.
This was a big night.
It really was. It really was.
Wow.
Where should we start off at? Because you want to start from the top and work
we'll
our way
start
down?
from there. So first of all, we are going to get deep into the weeds on AEW All Out tonight. So if you have not seen AEW All Out yet, and if you were trying to avoid spoilers and going to watch it later, now is the time to tune out and then come back, check out MUSE TV, and then watch it later on one of MUSE TV's various platforms or MUSE TV on YouTube, and then come and watch our show later.
Exactly.
But if you have watched All Out and you're ready to get into it on All Out, now is the time. But if you haven't seen it yet, now is the time to tune out. We'll give you a second, and then we're going to go deep into it right from the top. But yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
We definitely are, because it's just so... Damn, there's a lot of stuff tonight.
Okay, so let's get in. I think, first of all, match for match, there was no wasted space, no wasted motion. Everything mattered. There was no dud tonight. There were no duds on the card tonight. Like every WWE card, there's like, a bathroom break match.
Yeah.
Or like a match you don't need, or like a match that just doesn't cut it. Like SummerSlam, it probably would have been Alexa Bliss versus Ava Marie, right?
Right.
Like that match. But not tonight. Everything mattered. Everything was meaningful. The closest thing to a dud was probably Paul White versus QT Marshall, but even that match, it did its job, and it didn't last that long either. It did what it needed to do,
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
What do you think? I think match for match.
Match for match, I think all of them were really good. Even the Paul White one, I don't have anything wrong with the Paul White.
Yeah,
I thought it was okay.
Like I didn't hate. I didn't hate that match. It did what it needed to do. But we'll start from the top. We're going to get into the surprises. There were some big surprises tonight. Surprise by surprise. Some huge surprises.
Huge surprises.
Okay, so first of all, because Andrade versus Pac did not happen tonight, it's been moved to later this week to AEW Rampage. So that match will happen on Friday. So as a result, they added the Women's Casino Battle Royal to the main card, and they had a 10-man tag match to open up the buy-in. Now, I think that that isn't so bad, because it will give AEW Rampage a big pay-per-view quality matchup, and it will like give them more attention. So now Andrade and Pac, they're not competing with CM Punk, Chris Jericho, MJF, Kenny Omega, and all those other big surprises from tonight, having the match on Friday.
Yeah, exactly. I think it separates it. It makes it especially, I'm kind of glad that they did move it, because then, I mean, what if it would have got buried with everything that happened?
Exactly.
Tonight? It's like, exactly. And that's a main event level match there as well.
Okay, so now that'll be the main event on Friday night. And again, we have a live chat here on YouTube, so come and join us in the chat if you want. Okay, so for the buy-in,
before we forget, super chats get first priority too.
Yep.
If you super chat, you get a first priority.
Okay, so first up, we had our buy-in, our pre-show match. We had the Best Friends, Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor, Wheeler Yuta teamed up with Jurassic Express members Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, beat the Hardy Family Office. So that's Matt Hardy, Private Party, and the Hybrid 2 by submission. Good little match, good spots, not too long. Just the hot opener. It's the hot opener spot,
Exactly. It was a good buy-in match for sure.
Okay, so for the opening match on the card, we had Miro, Eddie Kingston. Good, solid match here, I
It
think.
really was. I think it was too. Really shows the dominance of Miro.
Mm-hmm.
And Eddie Kingston like really performed very well. Like he was good in the match. Uh, very strong. It was strong for an opening match.
Now, for Miro's run right now, I'm reminded of when he was in WWE. He was having his big heel run, and he was U.S. champion, and he was like a monster. He was just this big monster heel. He was beating everybody, and then they had him feud with John Cena. He won the
Yeah.
first match with Cena, and then he lost like 2 in a row, like at WrestleMania and the next pay per view, and then I feel like after that feud with Cena, he never recovered
Yeah.
because they spent a year building him up as this mega heel. And
Mhm.
then after that, it was kind of like, well, we built up this big monster heel for like Cena to vanquish, and then they never did much else. Excuse me, for him after that. But I feel like this is a chance to reignite Miro. Ever since he broke away from Kip Sabian, he's been this dominant monster. He's the
Yeah.
TNT champion, and he's having a good run.
Mhm.
This was a good win for him. Eddie Kingston more than held his own, had some great chops in this match. Good match. I think the right guy went over here.
Mhm.
I like on an emotional level, I want to see like Kingston win a title, but I think Miro
Mhm.
winning was the right decision.
Yeah, I don't think it was the right time even to change the belts with him because it's let's
Yeah.
be honest, he's on a good run.
Yep.
Why extinguish a good run when it's working?
And I think when Miro eventually loses the title to whoever,
Mm-hmm.
it'll be meaningful. It will be meaningful and impactful. Because let's
Yep.
see, when did he win the title? He won it. He won it a few months ago. So, okay, he won it last May. And
Mm-hmm.
when he loses it, it's going to be a big, impactful win for whoever wins it.
Yeah.
And I think later after that, you could move Miro on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Okay. So next up, we had John Moxley versus Satoshi Kojima. So this was our AEW versus New Japan match.
Yep.
We didn't get the Hiroshi Tanahashi match, but Tanahashi he's been busy over with his New Japan duties as U.S. champion. So I hope we will get that matchup either maybe at a future New Japan event.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll get it on Dynamite, or maybe we'll get it at Full Gear. Who knows? But I hope we get that because I feel like that's the matchup that Moxley really wants. But this was fine. Good match.
Mm-hmm.
Moxley gets the win and looks strong.
Yeah.
We have decent relations between AEW and New Japan. I think though, once we're truly out of this pandemic, I think New Japan needs to think about doing like a crossover show with AEW, because I feel like if they could pull their rosters together, they could do like a Madison Square Garden level show, or the Staples Center for that matter.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that because and we'll see the first test when Bound for Glory comes into Vegas next month when they have all four of the federation, all four of the
Oh yeah.
wrestling organizations together and see how it goes. But definitely when the pandemic is over and everybody's able to go out to an event, I mean, imagine what the hype would be for that. It would just be huge.
Any thoughts on Moxley versus Kojima?
It was a good match. It was solid. I think we're gonna see more of them in the future, but yeah, it was solid. It wasn't bad.
I think with match for match, I think they
Mm-hmm.
did a good job of progression for
Yeah.
this card, where like they started strong but they escalated it, I think,
Mm-hmm.
the right way.
It was kind of like a step ladder. It
Yeah.
was building up, constantly building up, and especially at the end of this match, let them know what in the hell happened there.
Okay. So next we had for the AEW Women's Title.
Oh no!
We had,
Before that,
okay, wait. Oh,
before
we had Minoru.
yeah,
Minoru
Suzuki
is getting into
Minoru
it with
shows up.
yeah. I was not expecting Minoru to show up tonight And now they got a match, and we got a match coming up this Wednesday on Dynamite. So
Yeah, which
um,
I was shocked that he would show up. Like, I think he's only wrestled a few times here in the United States, if I remember correctly.
I think he has a show in what is it? GCW
Yeah.
coming up.
Mhm.
Him and yes. So Minoru Suzuki is going to be touring in the US for GCW. Let's see. Throughout this through September and October. So that's probably he's probably here in the US right now. So first he's going to get in there against Moxley this Wednesday on Dynamite. So man, they're already booking some hot matchups for Dynamite and Rampage this week. It's exciting.
And you know what's cool? And this is what I like is the fact that they're not scared to do this. Like New Japan knows that by doing this, even though they haven't been able to have matches in Japan with the public,
Right.
by doing this, it's building their brand in the United
Right.
States. It's
Exactly.
making people like really, really like, who's Minoru? I've never heard of Minoru. To go
Right.
look back, look at the old footage, look at the old video, and really build a fan base for a lot of people who don't know who these wrestlers are. So
And
that's
Minoru,
great.
he has like an attitude and style that I think would appeal to American fans too.
Oh, I agree. Completely agree.
So with the Minoru thing and setting up that match, like if AEW wants to be like, if New Japan wants to be in business with someone in the US right now, I'm sorry, it's not Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Like I like Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor has a great roster. They have a great product, but Ring of Honor is not, I mean, their TV access isn't great.
Yeah.
They have
it's on Fight TV that they show a lot of their matches, right? Is it
right, but they have they're owned by, what is it, Sinclair Broadcasting. They have TV with Sinclair but it's not like they're not on a major network, you know?
Yeah.
They don't have like major TV coverage. AEW has major TV coverage, you know? It's just not this, it's different. And they don't have the buzz that AEW has right now. I mean, like basically on Wednesday night, over 1 million people are going to tune in to watch Jon Moxley versus Minoru Suzuki. So you're guaranteed you're going to get 1.1, 1.2 million viewers on Wednesday night. You're probably going to get even close to another million from the DVR watchers, from people who just watch it on streaming or YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, because some people just don't even watch regular TV anymore, Michael. So if you're New Japan and you want a better foothold in the US and you eventually want, because AEW did do Resurgence in LA last month. So they're still going to be trying to book shows here, maybe once we can truly get out of this pandemic. If they ever partner with another promotion, AEW is the best option. You know?
I agree.
And Tony Khan is all about crossing the forbidden door.
Yeah. And see, this is one thing I'm really starting to, I've always liked Tony Khan and the way he's been thinking and moving the product.
Yeah.
But he's not scared to try new things and to do different things, and realizing that, hey, if we work with them, it's not hurting us. It's helping us. It's building the brand. It's not taking us down.
You think about, like, Triple H has said we're open for business. WWE president Nick Khan has said we're open for business. Now, like when Tony Khan says it, he means it. You know, they truly are open for business.
Yeah. When Triple H says it, it ends at the door and it doesn't go outside of that door.
Pretty much.
Let's be honest. And yeah, it's kind of true.
Well, they had, in the glory days of NXT and NXT UK, they did do some work with like some indie promotions, but all that is pretty much done, over and done with at this point, with all the changes to NXT. But all right, so let's move on to the women's title match. We had Britt Baker versus Chris Statlander. Britt Baker came out of this with the win. I think we both saw Britt Baker winning this one. We like Chris Statlander, but it's not the time for Britt Baker to lose the title, you know?
Exactly. And we called it. I mean, we knew this was what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Britt Baker needs to have a long run to really show what she could do. And Saturday can make it when she loses the belt. It's really an impactful type of win for the person whoever wins it.
But this was a good match. It did its job. I think both women look good.
Mm-hmm.
I think Britt Baker, even when she loses the title, I think she's still going to be one of the top stars in the company because her her response from the crowds is like on par with any top main event star in the company. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I almost cannot believe like how over she is. But I mean, I love the character, and I love how I feel like ever since she came in, I feel like we've really seen her grow in front of our eyes, and it's been gratifying to see.
Oh, it really is. I mean, like I mentioned so many times before, she still has the best match to me of the year so far.
Oh
And we
yeah.
still got 4 months to go. So it says a lot there.
Not just the best women's match, but one of the
Mhm.
best wrestling matches, period, this year.
I agree.
Okay, this was match of the night for me. This match of the night, match of the year candidate, it was this one. We had the cage match between the Lucha Bros versus the Young Bucks. Now, you want to talk about storylines. You want to talk about psychology. These two teams go back over 2 years in AEW. They've been going at it tooth and nail since AEW started. I was there. AEW Double or Nothing, May 2019. It was the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Bros. The Young Bucks won that night. So they've been going back and forth at each other for over 2 years. And the Lucha Brothers have never quite been able to get it done, but they got it done tonight, and we have new tag team champions, the Lucha Bros, Penta El Zero Miedo, Rey Fenix. We got new champions, Mike. What a moment. I was at the edge of my seat for this one. I was losing my breath. I was having heart palpitations. I was nervous because, like, I really felt like tonight was the night we needed to see the Lucha Bros win, and they did it. And it was beautiful.
And they did it in a big way from their entrances, pretty much showing how they are the Mexikings, which they are now, the Mexikings, and now they're the kings of AEW in the tag team division. What a great wrestling match. Like, that last couple moves was just crazy when Rey Fenix got on top of the cage, planchad the freaking Young Bucks. Penta was there ready, and then just got him for that finisher and closed it. It was nuts.
Like, the last half of the match was almost like finisher after finisher, but it was fine to me because it was like both these teams rather, were pulling out all the stops, and like they weren't willing to give an inch, and they weren't willing to give up. But man. Exactly. Oh, and then the shoe with the thumbtacks came out. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Penta. Penta looked rough by the end of this match.
Oh,
he was a bloody mess.
Yeah, he had a crimson mask, and not just his regular mask.
I have a question for you about the shoe. They defaced that Nike, that reverse swoop Nike with the thumbtacks. Did they ruin the shoe or did they improve it?
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of those Air Force. Those are the Jordans. I think
is that Jordans. What those are?
I think they're Jordans.
Are those Nike Air Jordans?
Yeah, they're number ones, and never really been a big fan of those. So yeah, you know what? So it could be an improvement. Hey, so Michael Jordan would have played baseball with those.
So did the Bucks improve the shoes by putting?
Oh, I'm pretty sure they'll be selling them soon. The Bucks will sell them if they can make a buck.
Because I was like. Because I was talking about this while watching the show, and I was like, man, they wasted all that money by putting all those thumbtacks in there, and so it was like, I don't know, is it an improvement? I think that's kind of funny, so I can't take credit for that. So was that an improvement to the shoe with the thumbtacks?
Well, it worked for them, so I guess yes, it is an improvement.
Okay, now. I figured at some point someone was going to climb to the top of the cage and do some sort of insanity, and they teased it. And then Rey Fenix, he eventually did get to the top of the cage, and he had to. I did like that Penta was like, "Oh, you gotta hit me as well with that giant crossbody off the top."
Yep.
So it was like, but man, that's just how intense. That's how intense this match was.
And to be honest, that was a tall cage.
Yeah,
it was taller than anything WWE has ever put out there. That's tall. That is actually no. I would think that would be Hell in a Cell, maybe even a little bit higher than Hell in a Cell.
I like what they did with the cage. I feel like the camera work in the camera direction for this match was good. They got I don't know if they had a cameraman inside the cage or what, but I felt like you could see all the major moments going on in the match, you know?
Yeah.
Like they did a good job filming that match.
And they really showed the height. Like they like you could see how high he was jumping off the top of the cage, and they showed it very. It was such a good shot. Whoever said, "Hey, put the camera right there," that we could show some height on it. Perfect job.
But I was really just feeling that title change tonight, and I was really nervous that it might not happen. Just because I feel like the Bucks, they've had the belts a little while, and they've gone back and forth with Lucha Bros for a while, and I really feel like Lucha Bros needed this win to really kind of just cement this. And I feel like when you do a cage match like this, it's like the cage match to me, going back probably to the 70s, it's like it signals you're shutting the door. You're shutting the door on this feud. And I feel like we really needed a title change just to really put the cherry on top of this. And it was amazing. And I love seeing that moment with I guess that was Penta with his daughters after the match. That was perfect. It was emotional. Like I believed everything. Like I was so into this. And like this is like what in terms of emotions, this match like had me emotionally invested in what was going to happen. And this is what I want out of wrestling, you know?
Exactly.
And I know this is probably a personal match for you. So what are your feelings coming out of that match and just the quality and everything?
Oh, it was great. Like they deserve the belts. Like they've been there since day one. They're one of the most exciting tag teams right now.
Yeah.
And like it makes me wonder, like, shoot, I wish I would have drove to Republic of Lucha and see how it was when they won the belts, because I'm sure it was probably crazy in there.
Hey Penta and Ray, let's have a party at Republic of Lucha, and we'll all party together, right?
Exactly.
Have us out.
Celebration.
Have us out there. Yeah, let's have a celebration next at Republic of Lucha. They call
the
out
tag team belts are coming to South Pasadena.
Yeah,
so
and call up Mike Sandoval. He will do some coverage for you.
Exactly. We got great equipment too.
But yeah, I think I really think Ray Phoenix could become an even bigger star just because he is so unique in the ring. His style is so fun and exciting to watch. Like the stuff he does, like the stuff he was doing tonight was unbelievable. Like when he was pumping him up for the muscle buster, but then kind of did it into that kind of sit out powerbomb brainbuster. Like that was unbelievable. So great.
Exactly.
Okay. Anything else about the cage match before we move on?
No, nothing at all.
But to me, that was my match of the night. What would you say?
Oh, it was. It really was. That was like so good. It definitely match of the night.
Okay. So next up we had the women's casino battle royal. I think this was the exact right match to put after like just an emotionally draining, grueling cage match like that, because this was like considerably lighter fare. You know, it wasn't too long. I do think the rules of the casino battle royals are a bit confusing though.
Yeah.
Like I don't get the whole like the cards, like they're like a suit of cards. Like they do the groups, like every group is like a suit of cards, and then the last one's the Joker card. Like, I feel like they could streamline that process a little more. But what do you think?
I agree with that as well. I think they need to work on that and make some changes, but it was good.
Like I like that AEW, there's kind of like this overall kind of like gambling casino kind of theme that they kind of have going. I think that's cool. But I think maybe, I don't know, I think they could rework those rules a little bit. I think I picked Tay Conti to win this, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Tay Conti did have a good showing, and she did make it to the final four, but she was playing games on the apron and got eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Big Swole was back for this one. It was good to see Big Swole back. I don't feel like I don't think we've seen Big Swole for a while, have we?
Yeah, we haven't, especially not in the main shows. So I mean, she's been on Dark and.
Okay, I think she's done some Dark appearances.
Mhm.
Any other good showings here before we get to the big surprise?
Well, it was a good match. I mean, I like the way it's built up, but they do need to work on that whole the way they come out and everything. I know they're
Yeah, but
trying to
other
do
than
something
that, I
different.
think
Other than that, it was a good match.
yeah, I think most of the women did well. I do think Thunder Rosa needs to eventually be the one to unseat Britt Baker. I've said that before, but
I agree.
I wasn't expecting her to win this match just because I feel like whoever won this one is not going to be the girl to beat Britt Baker just yet. Or maybe she will. We'll see.
Maybe.
But I don't think it's going to happen just yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But to get to who
Yeah.
won, who was the Joker and who won, let me put that up right now.
Okay. Oh,
there you go.
And now it's official.
Mm-hmm. Ruby Soho.
Ruby Soho is All Elite. She is signed to AEW. This was perfect. We knew Ruby Soho was going to have a big debut wherever it was.
Mm-hmm.
She has been active on social media and been putting out like those vignettes where it looks, she's leaving Florida. She's heading. First, she went to New York and got into some trouble. And then she made her new destination, Chicago, for AEW. Yep. That's about as good of a debut as you can ask when you're, you were a notable star in another organization and you're coming into a new company with some interest, with, some intrigue. That was as good of a debut as you can ask for Ruby Soho.
Yes, I agree. I mean, those vignettes were
perfect,
produced really, really well. And I was like, shoot, she has to be coming to All Elite Wrestling because there was money put into those vignettes.
Clearly.
And a story to it. And a story with that what was it? Did you send it out with Destination Unknown?
Yeah. I think they were
literally they pretty much teared apart the Rancid song for Ruby Soho, and
just the fact that they were using Rancid's Ruby Soho in those videos.
Oh yeah.
Like, you clearly have to shell out a little bit for some of that licensed music, right?
Yeah, and it wasn't all of them. It was only the last one when she finally gets to that last point. Mm-hmm. Does the Ruby Soho song come on? And it's just it really sold it. And then when you see her come out as the Joker in the Battle Royal and you hear the song, you heard the pop in the arena. They knew who it was automatically right off the bat. She made a big statement. Nothing like this was a completely different look for her from what she came from WWE.
She successfully rebranded herself, and wrestling is a business where like reinvention and rebirth are like the most important things you can do for your career. Like, think about the Undertaker had a 30-year career in WWE. The Undertaker had to reinvent himself many, many times, Mike.
Yeah.
Kane did. Steve Austin. What was Steve Austin called when he came into WWE? What did they call him?
Stunning Steve Austin, and then
no, the Ringmaster. He was the Ringmaster.
Well, I was going WCW, then he became the Ringmaster, then he came in as
he came into WWF as the Ringmaster. So it took him a while, but before then in WCW, he was Stunning Steve Austin.
Yep.
And he was a decent star in WCW, but he didn't go into that stratosphere until he came into WWF and rebranded himself as Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now, Ruby was Ruby Riott in WWE. She was a great wrestler, good star, had the Riott Squad, but now she's Ruby Soho. And if you're trying to rebrand yourself with a new name, getting those vignettes helps, and using a song like that Rancid song is perfect. That is like the perfect way to like, okay, I'm not Ruby Riott anymore. I'm Ruby Soho now.
Yeah. And also too, this is how big of a pop it was. Even Rancid retweeted her entrance.
Yep.
And that is big when the band retweets their entrance, and that was really cool.
Okay, I have so it looks like she did a press conference after the thing. I will send you the link.
Yeah, send me the link.
No, it's just a photo and some sound bites, but she says it felt like home the minute I walked out there. So yeah, I think the new look, she kind of has that kind of punk rock look.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's perfect for her. And I think when you're someone who has a career where you're an 11-year wrestling veteran and you've been in the business as long as she has, I think it was good to have her be the Joker and pull out the surprise win. And now she's the new number one contender. Mm-hmm. I think AEW has a growing and improving women's division, but I think throwing someone like Ruby, who has, wrestled on TV for many years, who's wrestled on a big stage, who's been in WWE and has her level of experience, it's only going to help the AEW women's division,
And I like the way they're doing it. It looks like they have levels.
Mm-hmm.
Of what's on television, like what type of level, and if you do well, you're gonna grow up on that level and grow up to those type of cards. But with Ruby coming in, I mean, she had a fan base who really liked her.
Yeah.
When she was let go from WWE, you saw on social media how many people were pissed that they let her go.
And not just, but you had people at every level just have outpouring of just love and support for Ruby Riott when she got released. And not only that, she's not, she's still pretty young for this business.
Yeah.
She's an 11-year veteran and she's only 30 years old.
Yeah.
So when you think about it, she still has many years to come where she can be very successful, I think, Mike.
Oh, I agree. I think she really can. And I think I really do believe, after seeing what happened in WWE with her and with Liv Morgan and the Riot Squad, I think this is the best place for her. I think they're really gonna develop her and make her shine.
You know what?
It was more of a gimmick at WWE.
You know what they called like WWE in the second half of the Attitude Era, when like WCW was on its last legs, and some of the WCW, when the Radicals came in.
Yeah.
Do you know what they called WWE at the time?
I don't remember.
They said land of opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Now it feels like AEW is the new land of opportunity in the wrestling business in many ways. Mm-hmm. And who else? Okay, so Julia Hart got taken out of the match on AEW Dark, and they switched her with Sky Blue, who is a local favorite. So that was one of the changes. Any other standouts from the Casino Battle Royal for you?
No, that's it. I mean, we've already talked about everything.
Okay,
let's move on to the next one.
Thunder Rosa will have her day eventually. She will have her day. Just wasn't tonight. Yeah. But I feel like once she gets in there with Britt Baker, it's going to be epic.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Okay, so Chris. The entrances for this one were so amazing. Chris Jericho versus MJF. Mm-hmm. My first thought when they were doing the Millennium Countdown, I was like, "Oh, Jericho's gonna do a cool like kind of entrance." Because I remember when I was at Double or Nothing, and it was Jericho versus Omega in the main event. Jericho did this elaborate entrance where he did like a mix of all of his past gimmicks for the entrance, and he did like some of his past gimmicks in WWE. It was a really cool entrance, and then so we started this entrance off with the Millennium Countdown, like, oh, okay, Jericho's doing a throwback to his Millennium Man thing from WWE when he debuted there in 1999. But instead, it ends with Chris Jericho's last match and MJF being the ultimate bad guy just being the
Mhm.
ultimate troll with that entrance. I love that.
Yeah.
That was perfect.
It was perfect.
What did you think about that? What did you think about that entrance? Because that was probably my favorite part of the whole thing.
Well, if you notice and you looked at MGF's social media all night, he was trolling a lot this not only tonight, but this week. And like like when I saw that, I was like, it wasn't shocked at all.
Okay,
But it
because
was
I was
good.
missing those tweets, so I
Yeah.
was not expecting that.
Like
But
he was taking jabs at WWE too, saying that about catering and everything.
I like when he says like I'm making movies here, pal.
Exactly.
Because that sounds like Vince McMahon. But like I
Uh-huh.
love NJ. I feel like a lot of wrestlers have like forgotten the art of being just a total jerk,
Mm-hmm.
just a total prick, and I feel like MJF gets that.
Yeah.
He worships Roddy Piper, and I feel like he gets the whole heel thing better than most.
Yeah.
But
And you kind of
yeah,
see resemblances of Roddy Piper, Iron
yeah.
Sheik, Nikolai Volkov, Freddie Blassie back in the day. You kind of feel that old school, like he knows this business.
Well, because like when he would throw the chops, like here's one thing he would do when he was doing like the chops, like whenever someone throws chops now, everyone like woos and cheers, like because it's like Ric Flair throwing the chops.
Yeah.
Now when MJF would throw the chop, he would like, and people would do the woo, he would like flick the crowd off,
Uh-huh.
like don't cheer me doing the chop. Like he's trying to get heat. He's trying to get heat for throwing chops when people will always like cheer and woo doing the chops.
Yeah.
And I think that's really smart.
Mm-hmm. I
Because
agree.
like guys like guys are just not doing that these days. Like MJF he will never break character. He will never break the whole heel gimmick,
Yeah. Even if you ever see some of his cameos, like somebody had put up a cameo of him and he was a jerk during that whole cameo too
Yeah.
to somebody. And he never breaks character. Wardlow was driving, pushes it over to Wardlow. I mean, this is like,
Like when a kid tries to get his autograph, he'll like flip the kid off, basically.
yeah, exactly. And
He doesn't care about those
it's
kids.
like you don't have that anti-bad guy like
Right.
every place else. This guy, he is a heel. He shows it, he proves it, he lives it every single day.
Now, just to add to kind of like the pomp and circumstance for the evening, we had Jericho out with guitarist playing the Judas song.
Well, that's
Yo,
his guitarist from Fozzy.
was that? I was wondering who that is. Is that one of
Yeah.
his Fozzy guitarists?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know who that was. So it was just an acoustic version, guitar version of Judas, no lyrics. So like the fans, so you had the fans having to sing solo for Judas. So
Yeah.
I thought that was a nice touch for his entrance.
I
I got to be honest. I kind of wanted MJF to get the win here, but it's fine that he didn't. And the match itself was fine, but it almost felt like this. Man, is Jericho going to lose here?
Yeah.
They kind of had me going for like this feel. It almost, what it felt like to me? It felt like Elvis's last night, or like Elvis's last show kind of thing. Is almost the feeling I got from this, or like the Beatles.
You kind of knew something special
Yeah.
was happening, or there's going to be something special tonight, and you kind of got that feeling off of wherever you saw it, however you saw it, you kind of got that feeling.
Okay, now, say what you will about Jericho. No, Jericho does not move as well as he did.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 years ago or 20 years ago. He's not but look, I'm not going to be in it. You can say what you will about Jericho's shape or his physique. I'm not going to be in as good a shape as Jericho when I turn 50. So I'm going to just tell you. So
I agree.
I would probably be okay if I look like Jericho when I hit his age. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Same here. Like, I don't want to go into that much work to look like, even just to even get an inch of him anymore.
And Jericho is 50. So my point is, like, no, he's not as sharp. He's not as sharp and quick and impactful but he can still get the job done. Even Ric Flair, when Ric Flair was still going well into his 50s, like Ric Flair did not have the greatest physique in his career, was not having the greatest matches of his career, but he could still hang in there and have good, solid matches. And he had a couple classics now and then,
Exactly.
And I think you could probably say And if you want to go back even further, you could probably say the same thing about Bruno Sammartino.
Yeah.
You know, one of the older WWF legends and champions in the tail end of his career.
Yeah, exactly.
Match was fine. I liked the Dusty finish. I figured when Jericho had his foot on the ropes that they were probably going to do like a Dusty type finish, and they did.
Yeah.
And then MJF shoved Aubrey. Wow.
Oh yeah.
You can't shove Aubrey like that.
No,
But he didn't
can't.
lose there. But then eventually he tapped out to the Lion Tamer. So what do you think? Are you okay with Jericho winning? Did you like the match? What did you think, Mike?
I already knew Jericho was gonna win. I mean, there's no way you're gonna stop his run. Liked the match, thought it was really good. Also love the fact that the that the Inner Circle, I guess we hadn't seen them together for a while, and we saw them come out tonight, so at least we know they're still around.
Yeah, because I feel like we haven't seen the Inner Circle together very much recently.
I agree, because like you're missing something.
So they did come out. They did come out and celebrate with Jerry. And then first Jake Hager came out when it looked like Wardlow was going to cause a distraction, and then MJF hit him with the bat, and then the rest of the Inner Circle came out after the match. So that was a cool moment. So Jericho's not done quite yet. So however long Jericho has, and I guess it makes sense. Someone pointed out he does have the Jericho Cruise coming up, so I guess he's going to probably have to wrestle at the Jericho Cruise. But I figure eventually Jericho will settle into like an MC, like front office role for AEW.
I agree. You already see he's practicing on Rampage, so
yeah. But I feel like he'll be kind of like that, and maybe. I think he'll be like another vice president type person,
Yeah, I agree.
Who will help build the company for the future.
Exactly.
But next? I think it was. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say. So what's next after that one?
Oh well, Jericho. I mean, MJF had beaten Jericho previously, so I don't. Do you think they're going to continue this feud, or do you think this is the end of it?
I hope not. I hope this hits the reset button and we see something else.
Yeah.
It's time. It's already been too long that we've been seeing.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, I tend to agree. Yeah. All right. So next up, we had our featured co-main event. I thought this was going to be the final match of the evening, but I guess they earlier in the day, Dave Meltzer reported that the world title match was going to go on last. So I guess
keep it. I could have.
Well, I could have sworn I heard Excalibur on Rampage calling Darby Allen versus Punk the main event, and I figured, okay, it's Chicago, it's Punk's first match in 7 years. Maybe they're going to do it. I would have been fine if this was the main event, but I guess they figured it is Punk's first match in 7 years, so maybe it's not the best idea. And I think that probably was the right decision. But what do you think?
I agree. I think it was a great decision. And I like the fact that they kind of kept it traditional where a championship match, the heavyweight championship match, should be the last match of the night.
And I think with the other surprises, which we'll get to later, it was probably the right move to have the world title match on last anyway.
It's exactly, but we'll talk about that one later.
Okay, so I mean, CM Punk, first match since January 2014. Punk has not wrestled an actual pro wrestling match since January 2014.
Professionally wrestled.
Right.
Since 2014.
He has fought in MMA.
He has done MMA, but not done professional wrestling.
Now, was this a 5-star match of the year candidate? Was it a 5-star contest? Was it even a 4-star contest? Probably not. No. But it did what it needed to do. Punk got in the ring in there. He had to get his sea legs back under him. Darby Allen bumped around like a freaking madman, like he always does, with no regard for his own life.
Which sometimes I worry, like, dude, your career. I always see like your career shortening for some of the things that he does. I'm just like,
Because
dude,
like
take it easy.
Will Ospreay.
Yeah,
Like Willow, like let's see, Will Ospreay is not even 30 yet, and he's already having like back and injury
yeah,
issues. But
yeah.
Mick Foley in his younger days just he didn't care and would bump around like a madman too.
Exactly.
Okay, so Sting came out, shortly for the entrance and let Darby Allen do this one on his own. I think the Darby Sting unit, like I wasn't really sold on it at first, but as it's come along, I think it's been like this weird kind of like spooky father son thing almost.
I
It
agree.
kind of
Yeah,
works.
it works. It works really well. Which at first I was kind of like, does it? How's this gonna all play out? But they've actually done a great job in building that relationship with the story.
Right.
And
I think the reason it works is like I feel like Sting is not there to upstage Darby.
yeah,
I think
exactly.
that's why it's a good unit.
Yeah, I agree.
So this was Darby Allen did bump around a lot for Punk. There were quite a few rest holds in this one,
Mhm.
but Punk has not worked an actual wrestling match in over 7.5 years. So I wasn't expecting like a 5-star classic here or whatever.
Yeah.
Now,
But also too, it's like he
okay,
needs to get he needs to I mean,
ring
this is his
rust.
first match in front of people. So it's like you're gonna have to like work it out and work out the kinks. And I didn't expect him to be CM Punk from 7.5 years ago.
Right.
He did a great job. Darby Allen helped him with it and helped sell it. It made it a decent match. It made him a good first match.
Now, what did you think of CM Punk wore long tights tonight? That was a bit surprising because I don't ever remember him wearing long tights like that in his career.
I don't remember it either.
He used to because he wore trunks in WWE.
Ring
Back
of
in his
Honor?
Ring of Honor days, he wore those like kind of like gym shorts, and then he
Uh-huh.
switched to trunks, and then he had the
Yeah.
trunks. But tonight he had long tights, which
Yeah.
is fine. He seemed to be in good shape. Punk has never had like he's never been like one of the most muscular guys, but it looks like he's been hitting the gym. His shoulders and traps looked really like bulked up.
Oh, I agree. He really does. He looks like he's worked out. He's ready to go. I mean, he's thinner than what I remember him, but maybe in person it
But
looks
like
different. Yeah,
you don't need to
not
be
the
like
heavyweight guy.
a blown up. You don't need to be a blown up heavyweight in
Right,
AEW.
right.
You can wrestle at your more natural weight.
Mhm. And I
You
think
don't have
that's
to
what he
worry
likes.
about. You don't have to. I need to be 240 to be accepted by
Yeah,
Vince McMahon.
yeah. And I think that's what he likes. I think he likes the fact that it has that Ring of Honor feel
Yeah.
and that it's you don't have to work and hit this certain weight. Like you could be athletic, you could be thin
hmm
and muscular, but you don't have to be like jacked.
But just to talk about some of Darby's bumps, like when
Mhm.
Darby got thrown into the post, like Darby just doesn't get thrown into the post. He gets thrown into the post and then he like gets splattered outside the ring. Wow. Like he just bumps like he has no regard for his well-being.
Oh, yeah, like everything balls to the wall. Let's see what happens. If I get hurt, I get hurt. And
Uh
that's the way
Punk,
it seems.
Punk hit him with go to sleep one time and then
Mhm.
Darby got thrown out of the ring.
Yeah.
Got back in just at the last second. Now I think in the last 5 minutes or so, I think the match really did pick up, and I think it
Yeah.
got a lot better in like the last 5 minutes or so.
Oh, I agree, especially when he missed the coffin drop.
Yep, missed the
And
coffin drop.
and CM Punk was like, I knew you were gonna do that. I'm ready. And you could feel like, dude, this guy friggin' like that had to like shake your spine when he lands.
And Darby did hit him with the suicide dive, and he also hit him
Mhm.
with like a swanton off the
Yeah.
top rope to the floor. So Punk did take a couple decent bumps here. Now Darby, now when Darby does a suicide dive, he probably has one of the best dives in the business, because when he dives through the ropes, like it looks
Yeah.
like a suicide dive, if you know what I
Yeah.
mean. Not
He does.
what
but
I
the
mean, and what I
crazy-
mean is he looks like he's trying to take either you or himself out with the dive.
Yeah, and you know somebody's gonna get hurt, and that's when he
Exactly.
comes out. So there you
Not
go.
literal suicide, but you know
No,
what I mean. Come on.
yeah, yeah. You know he's gonna get somebody's getting injured, and you just hope it's not Darby. At least that's what he's thinking when he
I
flies out.
think, and then Punk eventually got him with the second go to sleep, pin in the middle of the ring. I think we both expected that would be the case.
Yeah,
Look, you can't have Punk lose in his very first match in 7 years in his AEW in-ring debut.
Mhm.
And Darby Allen had a good showing. It's win-win for him. He didn't lose anything by losing this match, really.
yeah.
If anything, to be the guy to have this honor with Punk, like, it says a lot about Darby Allen.
Mhm.
So, I guess the question is, what's next for CM Punk?
I don't know. I really
Because it
don't.
looks like the main event scene is set for a little while. Do you
Yeah.
want to see Punk maybe mix it up with MJF? Would that be good?
It'd be interesting, but I think with CM Punk,
I don't think you want to put him in there with Miro right now.
nah, not with Miro. I would like to see Malachi Black
Ooh.
and have Malachi Black and CM Punk. But I think they're still doing the Rhodes family.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because
Yeah.
they did announce tonight. Because Malachi Black didn't wrestle tonight, but
Mhm.
he's going to be wrestling Dustin Rhodes.
Yeah.
At so that's something they could work to eventually.
Yeah, because I think
Now-
they both have the same type of physique, same type of style, and it'd be interesting. But it's something that I think they
Right.
really have to get CM Punk ready for.
I'm going down the roster and I'm saying, like, who do I want to see Punk wrestle right now? See, another factor here is the whole Cole Cabana thing. Do you think
Yeah.
they'll ever do anything with Punk and Cabana again, knowing their history, or do
I
you
think
think
they
they're
will.
just not going to touch it?
I think you will. I think you will see it. They
Mhm.
will bring it up as of nostalgia because I think it's smart to do.
See, because Moxley's a face right now, so he can't
Mhm.
really get in there with Moxley.
Mm-mm.
What about like Ethan Page and
Or what's his name from Taz's faction? Who's a Taz's
Ricky Starks?
Ricky Starks? Yeah.
Yeah, you see, I wouldn't. I think that would be okay too.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So you could do Team Taz and Ricky Starks.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to have him in a big feud right away either, but I feel like if you want to put him in there with the top heel, you could put him in there with MJF. And like, now that he's gotten his first match, his first win under his belt, you know, he doesn't need to win every match with MJF or what have you.
Mhm.
But Malachi Black would be an option. I think MJF is an option. Scorpios. I wouldn't mind Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Sean, you know, if they want to get him in there with
Shawn
the
Spears?
Pinnacle, Sean Spears. Look,
Yeah, I could
because
see
like,
that. That'd be cool.
say what you will about Sean Spears, he's a great worker,
Mhm.
and he could have a great match with Punk, and he could work a great heel.
Yeah.
With Punk. Also Wardlow.
Mm.
Because if you have him in there, if you have him mixing it up with the Pinnacle, he could get in there with Wardlow, with MJF, with Sean Spears, with FTR. Just depends.
Yeah.
So, Team Taz and Ricky Starks, I think that's an option. I think that's on the table. I
Mhm.
guess we'll see though.
Yeah, just a matter of let's see when Dynamite comes on, and maybe
Mhm.
there'll be something to set him off to set the trajectory.
But
to
this
CM
was
Punk.
the right choice for his first match.
I agree. I agree.
Because I mean, as Punk said, Punk said if he was like a 15-year-old kid, like Darby Allen would be his favorite wrestler. So I mean, he put, other than winning the match, he put Darby Allen over every step of the way for this one.
Oh, I agree.
Okay, so next up, so this was kind of like our breather in between the two main events. We had Paul White, QT Marshall. Not a great match for any stretch of the imagination, but inoffensive, totally inoffensive. Whatever. They got what they needed out of this.
Great separation between main events.
Yeah.
It was something to give a break and a rest for the audience for what was to come, because what was to come was big.
Uh-oh.
So it was a good spacing. What was the uh-oh? Hello? Jeffrey?
Here we go.
Okay.
Are we back here?
Okay,
yeah, it was a great break for the audience.
Yeah. So
are we good? Yeah.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, it did what it needed to do. Paul White got his first match, his first win under his belt in AEW. I don't know how much we can really expect from Paul White though at this point.
Yeah. I mean, he did have hip surgery, which I don't know how much he could take on it.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks good. He looks good for the surgery after having the surgery and stuff.
How old is Paul White anyway? He's 49, so he's actually younger than Jericho.
Yeah.
One thing I will say, I did like QT's gear tonight. Kind of had the bedazzled tights.
Yeah. It was interesting.
Fortunately, it wasn't a good night for him though.
Exactly. Main event. Big match.
For the AEW World Championship, we had Kenny Omega putting his world title up for grabs against Christian, who already beat him on Rampage to win the Impact World title. So we had champion versus champion, but only the AEW title was on the line this time. Yeah. Now I'm gonna say something here, because when Christian first came in, I wasn't very high on Christian, just because, like, look, Christian's not a young man, he's not a spring chicken. I wasn't really all that enthusiastic about him mixing it up with the main event guys and the top guys, but I'll give Christian his due here. He worked like a champion tonight. He worked like a main eventer tonight, and he looked damn good.
Yeah, he looked really good. I mean, some of the bumps were brutal. There was one that I saw where he speared Kenny Omega into a table, and you could tell it hurt because the leg of the table went through it and hit him like on the his lower.
Yeah, his abdomen was like busted open later, so it looked like it did some damage. Looked like he took a piece of wood or something. So I hope he's okay there. But like, Christian is 47 years old, but he did not wrestle like a 47-year-old man. He did not look like a 47-year-old man tonight. He looks like he's in great shape. And he moved, like, he looks better in the ring than Jericho at this point, And I'm reminded, like, Edge and Seth Rollins, I think at SummerSlam, they had the match in the night for me, bar none. And this kind of reminded me of that, honestly.
It really does. And it was a good match. It was fun. They took some brutal bumps and they really went out over the top, but it was a good match and it was a lot of fun.
I liked that first table spot with Omega doing the stomp on the table, because we don't often see, like, okay, he's gonna put the table over him on the other side and he just stomps him, because, like, that move did not hurt him at all, and it did damage to Christian. I'm like, okay, use the table that way where you don't kill yourself as well going through the table. I thought that was a smart move.
And I think the table did the same thing as well as the one that he speared him into, because I thought I saw the leg of the chair go through that table as well.
I like that. I like that Christian, he used the spears tonight, giving a little homage to his days with Edge. He did the Unprettier at one point, and he finished him with the one-winged the Avalanche one-winged angel. So it was a good finish. And I think when we had like 20 minutes left to go, I think we knew there were going to be some big surprises. But
Oh yeah.
overall, before we get to that, overall, good match here. I think Omega winning is the right move right now. It's not the right time to take the world title off him. But what do
Yeah.
you think about that?
I agree. It was a good match. Good thing that they kept the belt on Omega. Because they need to build up this thing, and I think after I'll let you know what I think they're leading up to. As soon as we talk about
Okay.
guest entrances, but it was a good match.
So you had the Elite coming out
Mhm.
to continuing the beatdown on Christian.
Yeah.
And then Lucha Jurassic Express came out because Christian has recently been allies with the
Mhm.
Jurassic Express. They're the Elite are still beating them up, and of course we all we're hearing the fans chant yes, yes, yes. So we all know
Mhm.
what we're gonna expect, right?
Yeah.
And then lo and behold, we get our surprise debut, and it's none other than Adam Cole.
Adam Cole.
Baby!
Dude.
Adam Cole, baby!
Exactly. I
Wow.
on Thursday's show when we had our show,
Yeah.
I kind of said like Adam Cole would be interesting. I don't know how the possibilities are, but it
Okay.
would have been interesting to see him. I didn't think he was actually gonna show, but when I saw the music hit and I saw him come out, I was like, "Oh my god!" I'm starting to believe that what I thought and what we had talked about at one point
Yeah.
will happen, and I think it's gonna start setting. That is gonna be set up at Bound for Glory,
Right.
and it's gonna be big. It's gonna be huge.
Because I figured Adam Cole was a possibility for
Mhm.
AEW. I didn't think we'd see him as soon as All Out, though.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
didn't think we would get to two big debut, or I guess three in one night. So here, I'll
'Cause what
send
was
you
it?
the.
2 weeks since he left NXT?
When was it? NXT Takeover
A week
was
ago.
August 22nd.
Yeah.
So not just 2 weeks.
Mhm.
It's been two. So his WWE contract expired,
Yeah.
and he was a totally free agent after that, so he could go wherever he wanted once his
Exactly.
contract was up.
Mhm.
So he didn't have. So, you see, some wrestlers who have been released recently, because they got released, they were under non-compete deals, so they
Mhm.
had to kind of either get permission from WWE to get out of those non-competes early, or they have to wait for those non-compete periods to finish. Adam Cole did not have to wait that long.
Yeah,
So,
because I think what happened was that he passed his contract. He actually
yep,
worked a match not under contract,
right.
and then he left. So he was like free to do whatever he wanted
Yeah, I
after that.
think his contract actually expired in July.
Mhm.
And I think we figured he would probably come to AEW because, I know we talked about this. Like Britt Baker is there, and like
Mhm.
everyone assumes, like Britt Baker, he gets to work with his girlfriend, and some wrestlers, that is motivating to them.
Yeah.
I do know that Zelina Vega apparently, Malachi Black said one reason Zelina went back is because she wanted to be with him in WWE, and then he got
Mhm.
fired right before she came back to WWE. So that was
Yeah.
kind of like a big. That was like that was kind of like a sad note for them.
But
But
also too, I
yeah,
think Adam Cole already saw the writing in the wall
right.
that he wasn't going to get any bigger than where he was at. I think he
You
saw
know,
the writing.
I think it's I agree because like now we're hearing like here I want to bring up that Nick Khan quote from the Ariel
Yeah.
Helwani interview.
Please share that so that I could put that up.
Okay, Helwani, we're done.
Yeah, because I really do think Adam Cole saw the writing in the wall and just said, "You know what? That I'm just gonna be. I don't know where they're gonna put me, but I'm. This is all I'm gonna be is NXT, and that's it."
Okay, so Nick Khan told Ariel Helwani,
Mhm.
we're doing a complete revamp on NXT. We're doing a complete rebranding. Let's see, what else did he say? I'll send you the story with all the quotes.
Yeah.
It has a clip in there. I don't know. The clip is from BT Sport, but I want to read out exactly what he said.
I'm putting it up now.
Something about indie guys. Okay. So this is the president of WWE, the president of the company. He's like Vince McMahon's number 2 guy right now, not Triple H. It's going to have a whole new feel, and we believe because a lot of the indie wrestlers, if you will, have come through our system and are in our system with SmackDown and Raw. We don't want to just keep doing that same thing. We want to look elsewhere for great young talent. Now, look at guys who came from a wrestling background in WWE. Now some have done well, like Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. But I mean, what are Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens even doing right now, Mike? What are they doing these days?
Nothing, really.
Cesaro had a bit of a feud. Cesaro had a bit of a feud with Roman Reigns, but he's not doing all that much right now, right?
Yeah. Pretty much. Kevin Owens is just doing the KO show and doing stuff with that. And now it looks like they're gonna have Paul facing Kevin Owens.
Look. Who wrestled for the world title at SummerSlam? Goldberg. Yeah. A 54-year-old. You're Adam Cole, and how old are you now?
I don't know how old Adam Cole is.
Adam Cole is 32. Adam Cole still has many years left in this business. Like, what is WWE going to do for him at that point? Especially when Adam Cole, let's be honest, he's under 6 foot, and he's under 250 pounds.
Yeah.
That already he has 2 strikes against him for Vince McMahon. So, exactly. I mean, let's be honest here. And as I said, AEW is the land of opportunity right now. But this debut was perfect because first, like, they're teasing Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson. Everyone's chanting yes. Everyone thinks, okay, it's got to be Bryan Danielson coming out to do the big save for all the baby faces.
Well, because they turned off the lights too.
Yeah.
So.
And no, it's not Bryan Danielson, but it's Adam Cole. And Adam Cole is coming out like, hey, I'm going to get you I'm going to take that. He's acting like he's going to take out the Elite.
Yeah. I'm getting revenge for the last time I saw you when he was the leader of the Bullet Club.
And instead, no, he lands a super kick on the baby faces, and he's in the Elite.
Yep.
So now,
and this is what I say: they're gonna build up a Bullet Club versus Bullet Club match.
Oh, yeah.
I could see it coming, like the Americans who are part of the Bullet Club versus New Japan Bullet Club.
I think Tama Tonga would love that, especially. Oh, but yeah, they could totally do that.
And Switchblade has already shown.
Oh yeah, that's right, because Switchblade, because Jay White's on Impact.
Yeah, so you
Chris Bay.
Yeah,
Chris Bay joined the Bullet Club.
You could see it coming. It's gonna be something that it's gonna be one of those things where I think you're gonna see it first at Bound for Glory, but it's gonna take till their major pay-per-view, which will probably be Double or Nothing, that this thing happens. It's gonna take some. They're gonna build. So
by next year, by like May of next year, basically.
Yeah.
But I thought Adam Cole coming out, like acting like he's gonna do the big save, was perfect, and then turning on the baby faces and like, sorry, I'm with the Elite now.
Yep.
Then we got the big debut of Bryan Danielson. I was hoping we were gonna get Europe's Final Countdown. Yeah. Instead, we got kind of like that Flight of the Valkyries, kind of like, kind of sounding like a cover of his old WWE music. Do you think they should have gotten paid? How could Tony Khan? How can you not pay the rights for Europe's Final Countdown? Come on.
Well, yeah, but also too, if I was him, I would pay the rights to WWE to get his music and don't even say it and then put it up, because that would be like a big FU to WWE. Like, hey, you're not taking us. You're not. You've said many times.
Yeah.
that we're nothing. Like we don't even think about you.
Yeah.
Do you think
But
tonight WWE's thinking about them now?
I don't know, but I don't really. Even if they're not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like,
No. To me, it's
because
good wrestling. It helps build wrestling better on both sides.
like tonight, this show, I like. It wasn't a perfect show, but it was like almost perfect.
Yeah.
It was like there wasn't a wasted match. There wasn't there wasn't any. There was no filler. There was like virtually no filler tonight. The closest thing that was filler was QT versus Paul White, and even that didn't bother me all that much.
Exactly.
I didn't get bored. I was excited, and I was having a good time the whole night. And I think the other thing is the fans left this show so energized and excited. Like, I feel like WWE has forgotten, like giving the fans what they want, sending the fans home happy. You always hear that in wrestling: send the fans home happy.
Like,
but I don't know.
I think tonight was the first time in a long time where I was literally like excited to see Adam Cole come out, see Bryan Danielson come out, see Ruby Soho came out. I mean,
I think what started that, I think it really all started with the Lucha Bros winning the titles.
Oh yeah.
That kind of like flipped the switch. And then then we got the Ruby Soho debut.
Yeah.
Then we got like we got the fun Jericho MJF. We had Jericho doing the whole Y2J thing and Jericho's last match. And then you had Jericho doing the, the acoustic Judas entrance.
Yeah.
Then you had Adam Cole, and then you had Bryan Danielson. Like everything built up. Everything built like you said, it's like rung by like going up the ladder. It felt everything built up to what we got at the end. Everything was placed close to perfect tonight.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the last time a WWE show was paced this well, was built this well, and just put together this well with like no actual filler and just everything kind of built off one another, Yeah. I kind of miss that feeling. And I know it's possible, but I'm happy to see it done at this level.
Yeah, same here. I have been missing, like, even though I bought Peacock, I've bought WWE Network in the past, and I've seen a lot of their pay-per-views over the years.
Yeah.
And it's just like it hasn't been to this level for me in a while now. And AEW really reminded me of back in the day when they used to do this, and when they used to, like you say, send the fans home happy, expecting and waiting for what's next, to follow the storylines, to be a part of it. And you haven't seen that really from WWE. It's been very kiddie.
I think WWE, do they notice? I think there are people in WWE who notice AEW. I truly believe that. I just don't think when they make changes, I feel like they're not making changes for the better. And it reminds me of when WCW was kind of, they kind of peaked in 1998. And then they started losing the Monday Night Wars, and it feels like they were making all these big moves. But the big moves they were making like did the opposite of bringing in ratings and entrance. Like they did that, like, oh, we're going to bring in Kiss. We're going to bring in Master P and the No Limit Soldiers. And I'm like, and like none of it really helped or benefited the company.
Like pulling for straws, just trying to gain ground at this point, and sometimes it does feel like that.
Okay, like in the Monday, deep into the Monday Night Wars, they brought in Ultimate Warrior into WCW. Like, okay, man, like, what are we gonna like? WWF, they're gaining ground in the ratings. What do we got to do? We got to bring in the Ultimate Warrior. We got to bring, and to me now, like the equivalent of that is like bringing back Goldberg. Like Goldberg, like respect to Goldberg. Was a big star back in the day, but Goldberg clearly should not be in there mixing it up with the top stars anymore at this point.
Yeah.
My point with Christian earlier, even at 47 years old, Christian tonight, he proved himself as a main event player. Edge at SummerSlam with Seth Rollins more than proved himself that he can still go at 47, almost 48 years old.
Right.
You know, and Sting has mainly taken a backseat role, being like the hype guy for Darby Allen. And I think that's like the perfect role for Sting.
The teacher, being the guy who's guiding them to that success and how to get bigger and how to, hey, I've been there. Follow me, and I could take you there.
And Bryan Danielson, I keep forgetting, he's Bryan Danielson again.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, Bryan Danielson might be 40 years old, but we know he can still go in the ring. And but do you think it's going to be Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega now?
I don't know. It may.
Okay.
It may. But I think they're gonna work that up. I think it's gonna be Jurassic Express, Christian and Bryan Danielson versus the Elite. They're gonna play that off a little bit more. I think they're gonna build that up.
And then, so the next pay-per-view is Full Gear.
Yeah, in November.
So that's in November. Do you think they run Bryan Danielson versus Omega in November?
No.
Do you think they run Omega versus CM Punk in November?
Could be.
You know what else they could do? They could do Blood and Guts with the Elite, Jurassic Express and Christian, and Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, they could.
Or like a War Games type match or something.
They could bring in a CM Punk to be a part of that. Spin it off and have CM Punk versus Adam Cole.
Yeah.
They could do
that. But basically we have and did I send you did we show the Bryan Danielson thing?
No, you didn't show the Bryan Danielson.
So I sent you in the chat. So Bryan Danielson is officially signed to All Elite. So we have 3 big signings tonight. We have Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson, and Ruby Soho are now officially part of the AEW roster. They all have AEW contracts. Now, if you are going to pick people up from WWE, Adam Cole, who did not get fired, did not get released, 32 years old, yes, instant pickup. Bryan Danielson, yes. Ruby Soho for your growing women's division, yes, most definitely.
Yeah.
All must-haves for this roster, I think.
Yeah. I think they're great pickups. I think they're great. There's a lot of upside. A lot of upside. And I think it's good. And I think what they've done, it's like they haven't been picking up just anybody that WWE has been letting go.
I think well, they did get Everrise 2.0, but like, you know,
but I think that was
they're like whatever.
That's like buying a pack of Kleenex at Walmart. They probably got them for a good price.
Yeah.
And it was instead of $2.
2.0, I like you guys. I won't compare you guys to a pack of Kleenex, but they probably got them for a good price, right?
Well,
yeah,
hey, they had to use that Kleenex when they got released from NXT. So at least, hey, there you go. I mean, it's the same gimmick.
That's quite a unique analogy.
Well,
I like it though. I like it.
No, but it's like they got them. They probably got them for cheap.
Okay.
To get them in, but I think they've been very strategic on who they're building up and who they're gonna put in the big positions.
Okay, so here's what we have going into Dynamite. We are guaranteed on Wednesday, just 3 days. We're gonna get Moxley versus Suzuki. Ruby Soho will be appearing, and Malachi Black versus Dustin Rhodes. Hopefully, we'll be getting news about Bryan Danielson, Punk, Adam Cole appearing in the next couple days. It would be a bad idea to go into your first Dynamite off of a hot pay-per-view. You don't follow up on Punk, Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole all being on your primetime TNT show.
Yeah, because everybody who has a ticket for Wednesday night is going to be hungry. Looking forward to that.
And they're going to be in Cincinnati, and if they haven't sold out Cincinnati, Ohio yet, I bet they're going to do it now.
Oh, yeah. And you're going to see if ratings don't go over 1 million or 1 million plus, they did something wrong because there should be over 1 million plus in ratings
Okay.
for Wednesday night.
They did over 1 million last week, so I expect they will do over 1 million this week. Otherwise, something will have really gone wrong.
Yeah, they made oops, I made a mistake.
But yeah, my big takeaway from tonight's show is just, man, satisfaction. Like this was like as close to a perfect wrestling show as I've seen in a long time. Like SummerSlam, I had fun with SummerSlam, and SummerSlam was good, but I almost got like more enjoyment out of watching this show at home on TV than I did watching SummerSlam live at Allegiant Stadium from the press box. You know, it's crazy.
Like I haven't been this excited for a pay-per-view in a long time. And this one just got me excited. Like I'm a big fan of Adam Cole. I like the way he works. I like Bryan Danielson. Ruby Soho, I like that even though because sometimes I was just like, dude, I know there's something there, and they're just not giving her the space to grow in WWE. And when you saw her tonight, the pop, it made me happy to see what she did because it's almost like, hey, they're gonna do a good job with her, and I just see big things for her. So I really loved it. I was excited. I was happy. I'm gonna watch Dynamite. I am waiting for on bated breath for them to come to LA because
once they finally come to the West Coast and SoCal, it's going to be huge.
Yeah, and I think they have to be coming in 2022. I don't think they're gonna come this year,
right?
But they're gonna come in 2022. They have to stop in LA in 2022.
I mean, couldn't I know, you know, we have our whole COVID situation, but couldn't they arguably come in right now if they wanted to?
They could. They could. But
New
I think
Japan did have a show here.
Yeah, I think they're having a problem with venue though. Something tells me that they're having a problem with like booking a venue because Toyota Sports Center, I believe, is still run by AEG. Staples Center is run by AEG. AEG is very pro WWE.
Okay.
They could go into USC in USC's arena. They could,
or they could go to or they could go to Long Beach and could go to Walter Pyramid, or they could go to the Long
Beach Sports Arena.
Yeah. Those are good. Those are good arenas.
Yeah. Even the one on USC, the Galen Center, is really nice. And I think for the Galen Center, I think it would be a good spot for them.
Let's see, how big is the Galen Center?
Shoot, I don't know.
Let's see. I want to just get a read on the Galen Center, like their capacity.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for right now.
Okay, so they could probably get a decent 10,000 people. I bet they could fill up the Galen Center.
Yeah,
I bet they could do that.
Because if you look at the biggest arena they've been in, has been in Chicago at the United Center.
Right. And then they're going to do they're scheduled to do New York this month.
Yeah.
In Queens.
Yeah, at the end of the month.
But technically they could go to LA now, but I guess the timing just isn't great at the moment.
I agree.
But 2022, I would say, provided the world still exists in 2022, I would say is a good bet. Any other major takeaways from All Out for you tonight?
Nope. I thought it was a great show. They did a great job. Had a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. My hat's off to Tony Khan.
Yeah.
And all the team and the wrestlers at AEW. You really did. Like, this was a fun show. And you guys really kicked it out of the park.
If I could say anything to Vince McMahon, Nick Khan, the brain trust of WWE, I would just say you could learn a lot from pacing, building a big event like this, and just give the fans what they want. They're your pay. They tell you what you want. They're your paying audience. You know, send the fans home. You say send the fans home happy. You say put smiles on faces. Do what you say you're there to do. Exactly. Learn from that a little bit. You know, that's my constructive criticism for the night for WWE. Okay. I think we can call it now for this special edition.
Exactly.
This impromptu.
This was like not even planned. Like we were supposed to take our 3 weeks off.
Yep.
Now we guarantee you, unless something big happens, and
This was
bigger than
big. This was a big night. So
Yeah.
yeah.
We'll be back, and we're gonna take our hiatus now because
Okay.
of Halloween and everything that's going on. So Jeffrey, how could they find you?
All right. So my Twitter is at WillJack83. You can check out my review of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings right now at 411mania.com. You can check out my CinemaCon coverage, my recaps of days 1 through 4 of CinemaCon at 411mania.com as well. My other wrestling interviews podcast, the 411 Wrestling Interviews podcast, is on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and Google Play. Check out my latest interview with wrestler Chelsea Green, who is now wrestling for NWA, for Impact, for Ring of Honor. So please check that out right now.
Exactly. And for me, you can always find us here at MUSE TV. And don't forget, this week we start Halloween, and it's getting spooky quick. We're covering Universal Halloween Horror Nights here in Hollywood. It's always a good fun day. So stay tuned for that. That coverage is going to go to the MUSE TV network. It's going to take about a week to produce, and then we're shooting for a September 15th launch date on that show. So stay tuned for that. And Jeffrey, as always, thank you so much for being a part of this. It's a fun ride. We'll see you soon on This Week in Pro Wrestling. And yeah, definitely. See you in a couple weeks.
Thank you, everybody.